and then pretty much just carry on
Oh,
the
wait a
conversation.
minute. We have a live atheist show. Good. I'm going to call in. Okay. It's Atheist Troll Live on YouTube.
That's what the name is, Atheist Troll Live.
Yeah.
That's telling that he would name himself that.
Oh, what? And he just started 7 minutes ago, so I may be able to get on. All right, I gotta log on so I can go.
Just keep an eye out in case you got Ang Strike lurking and he'll show up out of nowhere or something.
No. This is a call-in.
Oh, okay, all
right. Voicemail. Okay, I don't get the voicemail. Oh.
He has a phone number and he's not taking phone calls. People could type their damn questions, you fool. Oh, God. He has a recording machine take the question. Do you realize people have keyboards out there? They could type the question into the text chat.
So, buddy, first you called from an unknown number, which I don't take on a live show. So call back from your real number and I'll be happy to answer. Secondly, you're not the only one calling in. I was already on a phone call. So maybe you don't know how phones work or how message machines work, but when I'm on a phone call, I'm not going to take another phone call immediately without saying goodbye to the person on the phone. So go ahead, call back from a real number, maybe an unknown number, but if you got some balls and you're not afraid of shit, call in with your real number. I got my real number out here. You guys want it? Here's my real phone number, 678-506-5108. You afraid of me? You afraid to call in? Are you afraid to call in? 678-506-5108. Go ahead. What do you got to say? You got proof? You got evidence of your claim? What is it? People and their voicemails.
You can finish. Sorry.
You know what? I'm watching this young bimbo atheist who is in badly need of a haircut and a shave, and he's sitting there, pontificating about matters. How can you talk about anything in your atheist world? How do you connect anything? How do you connect the dots? Right? And they talk about they emote, they talk about right and wrong, good and bad, what's valuable and not valuable. Where does all this come from in an atheist world? I mean, these people are such pathetic jokes, okay? And yet they continue to do YouTube streams. It's just amazing to me. I would love to talk with any of them in a fair interaction, rather than they have a moderator who protects them and allows them just to monologue and run the clock out. Okay. You see, when they're allowed to do that, then there's very little time for interrogation. You see, when there are bouts of interrogation in these interactions, there's only a short window of opportunity, and they just run the clock out.
Darth, sorry, I've been gone for 5 minutes. I'm not sure, but are you going to call into the Atheist Troll Live show?
I did several times, and I keep on getting a recording.
Oh, is he not answering? Does he know who you are?
I don't know. All I'm getting is an answering machine. I can't take your phone call right now, but if you want to leave a question, I'll try to get to it on air.
With no transcription. Oh. Hello?
Yeah, I have a question for you. How do you justify atheism, given that atheism is a universal negative, but in a not God world, how would you be able to establish any universals?
So, are you saying universal truths?
No, atheism is a universal negative. It's either an explicit or an implicit denial of God, which is a universal negative.
Okay.
So how in a not God world could you instantiate any universal?
So give me an example of a universal.
God.
Okay. So without God, how do I substantiate God?
Yeah, not God would be a universal. God is a universal. Not God is a universal. They're both universal negatives. So not God in a not God world, which is either an explicit or implicit denial of God, that's a universal negative. So how in a not God world would you be able to sustain and establish that there are any universals at all?
So you keep saying universals, like there would be no universals.
How would you be able to instantiate any universals, including the universal negative of not God?
Okay, so you're saying that that's circular.
No, it's a question. God or not God are both universal negatives. Are you aware of that?
So you're saying God or not God are universal negatives.
They are both positive universals and universal negatives, depending on how you look at it. If I say the dog is running in the backyard, that is simultaneous. It's not only a positive statement, but it's also a negation of its denial. Okay? Every positive statement is a negation of its denial. So
Okay.
both God and not God, as respective worldviews, are universal negatives. So
well, one's a
how
positive and one's a
would you
negative.
be able to establish? No, they're both universal negatives.
So there is a God as a negative?
Yes. When we assert the universal of God existing, it would be negating the not God world. In other words, that all facts are unrelated to God.
All right, I'm with you.
I'm still waiting for an answer to the question.
Well, I was making sure I understood the question.
Do you have an answer?
Well, ask the question again so I can clarify just to make sure we're on the same page.
Atheism is a universal negative in a not God world.
So atheism is a universal negative, saying that there is no God.
It's either explicit or implicit.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
Well, you can indirectly deny God while explicitly saying you're not. So, for example, if you invoke that there are facts that exist ontologically and possess intelligibility without the necessity of referencing God, that's an implicit denial of God.
Okay.
So atheism is either an explicit or an implicit denial of God. Either way, atheism is a universal negative.
Okay.
I take it you're an atheist, right?
Well, I currently I don't believe in a God. I don't know if one exists or not.
Okay, no. Well, here's the problem what you're not understanding. Okay, if you are unwilling to acknowledge the necessity of referencing the necessity of God for facts, then that is an indirect denial of God, in spite of the fact that you're claiming not to explicitly deny God.
Well, what if I were to ask you, like, what do you feel about speed of light travel?
Okay, that's a category error.
No. I'm just wondering what you personally believe. Is that possible or not possible?
No. Okay. That's a category error. The speed of light is a temporal notion and not in the category of a transcendental
Yeah, but do you
necessity.
believe that it's possible
okay, would
to
you
travel?
not overtalk me, please?
Well, no, but
that's not the issue. I'm trying to explain to you.
But do you not know how to
that question is a category error.
But I'm not saying that there is or isn't a God.
I'm trying to answer you. Yes, you are. You're doing so indirectly. Let me ask you this question. When you invoke facts, okay? When you invoke facts, are you willing to reference the necessity of God as the precondition of facts? Or do you invoke facts as simply existing, ontologically existing, and intelligible without reference to God?
Well, I don't know what you like a fact, like the Earth is round.
When we invoke facts, the
like
fact
the Earth is round.
will either any fact at all.
Well, that's the example I'm using.
We invoke a fact. Okay, fine. Whatever fact you invoke, it will either reference the necessity of referencing the necessity of God as the precondition of all facts, or your facts will be invoked by choice without referencing the necessity of God. So, are you willing right now to acknowledge the necessity of referencing God as the precondition of facts?
So we only get two options?
There's only two options.
Well, why are there only
Either
two
you're
options?
Why? Because it's either you're willing or you're unwilling to reference the necessity of God when invoking facts.
What if I'm unable?
No, you are able because you're a conscious person right now.
Well, how do you know
You're
that?
Willing. Okay. Yeah. Really? Are we going to play this game?
Well, I was just. I mean, I just don't know.
You have an atheist call-in show, and you're going to play this game?
It's not an atheist call-in show.
It's not atheist. It's not an atheist troll show on YouTube.
Are you an atheist?
No, I'm not.
Well, then how is it an atheist call-in show if atheists aren't calling in?
Okay, are you an atheist?
I don't believe in a God, and some people call me atheist.
Now you're diverting from the question. So let's get back to my question.
Okay, let's get back to the question.
You want to maintain that you don't have a positive belief in God, that you're neutral. This is a philosophical fallacy. I didn't ask you if you know.
Well, I'm just saying I don't know.
Are you willing, when you invoke facts, to reference the necessity of God for precondition? I'm asking you, are you willing?
Am I willing to precept God?
No. Are you willing to acknowledge the necessity of referencing God as the transcendental precondition?
I don't think that I'm able to understand your argument.
Okay. Are you willing to acknowledge or affirm that God is the necessary precondition of all temporal facts? Are you willing to affirm that?
I don't know that he's the necessary How would I know he's the necessary precondition?
I didn't ask you what you knew.
I have to know. How can I answer a question if I don't know the answer?
Are you willing to reference God as the necessary precondition of facts, or do you invoke facts without referencing God?
I would say no to the first part of your question.
Okay, so you're unwilling to reference the necessity of God as the precondition?
Unable.
You're not. Why are you unable?
Because I don't understand the question.
Okay, so if you don't understand the question, how can you answer it?
Exactly. That's what I've been trying to say, but you keep trying to force me into an answer.
See now what you're doing is you're playing head games because you're uncomfortable with the question. Now,
no, I said I've been very clear. I've been very clear at trying to understand the question. I mean, maybe you're just bad at explaining it.
When you invoke facts, are they by choice without referencing God?
So when you say invoke a fact, could you give me an example of invoking a fact?
Yeah, if you say the sky is blue.
Okay.
Do you reference God as the necessary precondition when you say the sky is blue?
I don't think I do.
Okay. Can you invoke the actuality and intelligibility of the sky being blue without referencing God?
Yeah, the sky is blue.
Okay. So what you're saying then is facts can be invoked as actual and intelligible without the necessity of referencing God.
Okay, that's your claim.
Your position, right?
That's your claim,
no,
sure.
No, I didn't make a claim. I'm asking you, is that your position? See, I'm asking you very legitimate, circumspect questions, and you're being very evasive on your own show. Now, when you assert that the sky is blue,
yes,
do you assert that by choice with or without reference to God?
I assert it by looking at the sky and thinking that it's blue.
You're not answering the question.
Well, I don't understand what the question is. You want a yes or no? I'm explaining it. Take it as yes or no.
When you assert the sky is blue, do you reference God explicitly or implicitly?
Do I reference God implicitly or explicitly? I don't reference God at all.
Okay, so you've answered the question. So when you assert the sky is blue, that proposition is asserted as actual by choice without referencing God. Are we clear?
Okay.
Now, in a God world, there can't be any facts that do not reference God.
Okay.
All right? And in a not God world, there cannot be any facts that reference God.
Well, how is there a not God world?
A not God world is one where you do not reference God.
Does that exist?
No, if not from my perspective, it doesn't. But you see, in your position, you want to maintain, as contemporary atheists do, that you are neutral. Well, you're not neutral because you just admitted that when you invoke the sky is blue, that you by choice do not reference God as the precondition. Do you remember when you agreed to that?
Well, yeah, but that's not necessarily saying that there is no God. It's
Do
just
you
that there's
remember did you agree to that?
well, you kind of agreed on it for me. I just gave you my answer, and you said,
Okay,
"Well, that
when
means
you
this."
when you assert the sky is blue, do you by choice invoke that proposition without referencing God?
What if I do it and I just don't know?
Do you reference God when you assert the sky is blue?
So how do I have to say like the sky is blue, I love God? Is that how you do it with God?
When you assert as an atheist the sky is blue, do you by choice
how do you assert the sky is blue?
God? Okay, I'll be glad to answer that question, but you have a call-in show where you're taking questions, and I'm asking you a question about your atheism. Now, if you're incapable of answering this question intelligently when you're doing a YouTube stream, you're trying to turn the tables on me by asking me about my position.
No, I'm just trying to understand.
Not relevant.
Sometimes I need help understanding, and that's the best way I can understand.
Not relevant. Are you listening here? You see, you're over talking me. My position
but you talk
at
a lot.
this moment, okay, I'm talking just as much as you are, but you're the one who keeps on sounding very confused.
Yeah, I am confused. You're confusing me. I'm very confused. Hello? 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 Did you hang up? What's going on? Okay, well, I guess he's done. What's going on? I'm just trying to understand the question. We got to get universal understanding of the terms of the question before you start asserting that I agree to things. I don't know how you assert the sky is blue as an atheist versus asserting the sky is blue as a Christian. Oh, there it goes. Maybe he lost connection. I don't know. Cease, I saw that you wanted to call in. Give me the first 3 digits of your phone number.
Disconnected me.
Or I'll call you back.
Wait a minute. So you didn't lose connection on your end? He disconnected you?
No, I did not lose the connection. I said to him, I have to switch my headset. Okay, and he disconnected me. And I called back and I'm getting an answering machine. Now, did everybody see how utterly deceptive, deceitful, and evasive he was?
So wait a minute. He tried to make it seem like you lost connection on your end, but he disconnected you.
No. I'll call, right? And that had nothing to do with my microphone, okay? Because it's my built-in mic on my laptop. You know how I know? It's because the counter I was calling in through a Google phone, and the counter kept on ticking away, so I was still live on my side. He cut me off to get rid of me.
You can even answer really basic questions. That's kind of pathetic on his part.
Now, did you notice how he resorted to deception?
Yeah.
And trying to play dumb. I don't know what you mean. Like this. The guy was totally deceptive and deceitful.
Yeah, he even begged the question like once, I think, maybe twice.
Yeah, he wants to maintain, well, I don't have a belief in God, but I'm not saying there's not a God. You see what weasels these people are? They believe that there's no God, but want to claim, oh, I don't know. Yeah, you're choosing to invoke facts that don't necessitate referencing God, and that's a denial of God's existence.
Yeah. A denial of God is a universal negative.
Yeah. Yeah. They are denying God, but they don't want to admit that they're denying God. They want to play this little word and head game, going, "Oh, I don't believe there's a God, but I'm not denying there's a God."
That's really basic logic that they're failing. That's sad.
Yeah, officer, I strangled him, but I don't know that I killed him.
The only people I see doing that are people who are clinically insane.
He's now pretending like he can answer.
Why doesn't he just come to terms with himself?
No, you see, this is the nature of atheists. They are liars. Okay? This guy was so completely disingenuous and deceitful. Okay?
Yeah.
How many times did I have to repeat myself? And he's playing this little game. Oh, I don't understand. I don't understand. They're just lying pieces of crap.
He's still saying that there was a weird disconnection that happened.
He's lying, okay, because my clock was still ticking away on the Google phone call.
Oh, I see.
Okay, so if I had lost the connection, the clock would have stopped on the Google phone.
Yeah.
Ooh.
All right.
Yeah, he's a liar.
Yeah, of course he's lying. He got rid of me because he didn't want to deal with me anymore. So we have another feckless, coward, lying, spineless, ballless, jellyfish atheist. But you notice how they play dumb. I don't know what you mean. Look at him shaking his head like he's thoughtful on camera. What a moron.
I don't know. This dude seems like he's full of himself.
How did you even find his channel?
I'm going to try to call it again. Try to have an honest intellectual exchange with the atheists. If they realize that they're cornered by answering the question, then they won't answer it. They'll just be deceptive and deceitful. It happens every single time. Did you notice how he tried to turn the tables on me and asking me about my view? Did you hear me say, did you hear me saying, did you hear me say, it doesn't matter what I think. I said, this is your show. You have a telephone number and you're having people call in and ask you questions. I'm asking you about a question and you've yet to answer it. They will use any tool at their disposal to be deceptive.
Like I just called in and asked him a whole bunch of 3 random questions, and he answered me like right away. What did he answer you right away?
But that doesn't mean
he said you were welcome to call him back.
You know, they want to sit there and hide behind that saying, I don't know there's no God. Well, wait a minute. You're invoking facts that don't necessitate referencing God. You have decided that it's not necessary to invoke God, because if you believed God was necessary, you would reference him, okay, explicitly or implicitly. Look, these people are rotten to the core.